Good afternoon, everyone, and a very happy Christmas to all of you. This is Jared Rand. Welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Christmas Day, Saturday, December 25th, 2021. A little random advice from our soul. Learn to really appreciate everything about your life while you're still here. Practice seeing the good in others and feel the love you have for them. Become a deeply loving human being. Try to love everything that you see, feel, touch, and think about today. Practice even loving all your human shortcomings. Accept all your parts. There is a profound beauty within your humility. And the most important thing of all is not to take love too seriously. Love is naturally patient and infinitely kind, and there is nothing more beautiful for you to do on this planet than devote your life to love, sweet love. The greatness of a man's power is the measure of his surrender, William Booth. The word surrender is often greatly misunderstood. Surrender is not about giving up, failing at life, or the loss of anything. Surrender is one of the most beautiful experiences this life has to offer, and it is much more enlightening than you can imagine. Surrender is the gentle release of our ego's constant effort to get somewhere better than here now. It is bowing down to the divine essence within ourselves. In this now moment, it is what liberates us from our egos and allows us to instantly manifest the radically joyful life that we deserve and desire. Surrender frees us from any suffering we are experiencing instantly. The person who can fully surrender to this moment invites in such a profound clarity that they start realizing that they are living in paradise on this earth. Notice what happens anytime you deeply relax and let go of everything. How do you feel about your life, relationships, and your future? The experience of letting go of the need to be in control of your life is such a huge relief. It's similar to the feeling of submerging your feet in a hot bubble bath after standing for 12 hours in uncomfortable shoes. An enormous release occurs the instant you stop pretending to be the general manager of the universe and open your mind to seeing and feeling the bigger plan for which your soul is here. The sweet feeling of surrender creates the energy and space for the universe to fill up with what we were seeking. Through surrender, those feelings of emptiness caused by constant striving, pushing, trying, filled with divine goodness, becoming pleasantly. Trying to attain something better than here now. Become pleasantly filled with divine goodness. The deeper we let go, the more abundance, inner peace, and joy will come rushing into our lives. We will find that we are pure, conscious, intelligent energy at the core. Through surrender, we discover that real love, eternal peace, and deep fulfillment is. Only discover what real love, eternal peace, and deep fulfillment is. Only through surrendering can you discover the greatest experiences one can have. When you consciously surrender to the universe, you are essentially allowing the universe to guide you and support your every decision. If you persist in thinking that you are separate, alone, and must strive harder to manifest what you want in this life, you are fighting the universe and swimming upstream. To be in control of your reality, you must first surrender to it. Only through surrender can you release all energetic ego roadblocks which were hindering your path to enlightenment and the manifesting abilities that come with it. If you cannot surrender, it is because the ego is protecting itself and afraid to evolve. The ego is easily threatened and can pretend to be a spiritual warrior by covering itself in armor. The true you is like sunlight. It needs no protection or defense. It is warm, loving, expansive, light energy whose only requirement is to enjoy itself. If you cannot surrender and feel your heart is covered in armor, you are blocking everything that is amazing from entering your life. How can love enter your body if the heart is guarded all throughout your day? Excuse me. The moment you choose the path of surrender, the armor falls away, and all the subtle hidden shields around your heart become useless. Only in this space are you able to experience the profound state of peace that brings about your enlightenment. It is only through relinquishing the need to control, defend, manipulate, and protect the heart that you can find true and total freedom on a deep soul level. That which is real cannot be threatened, and that which is unreal does not exist. Course in Miracles. By giving ourselves permission to trust in the perpetual progress and often hidden evolution of our soul's journey, we will find the universe simply takes our hand and guides us directly towards that amazing life that we have been yearning for. The God Source never forsakes those who trust in its perfection. By surrendering to this moment, we are trusting the entire perfection of the universe. This empowers us to attract the experience of seeing, feeling, and knowing the perfection. Only through this understanding can the divine, awakened being we all truly are become fully realized. It is only from this space of deep, 100% trust in the perfection that anyone has the strength of awareness to awaken. Perhaps the best reason to learn surrender is that the all-expansive, trusting feeling feels so good in our bodies. Our heart relaxes, our chest releases, our mind opens, and we feel a warm sensation of peace throughout every cell in these bodies. Trust liberates our minds from its normal goal-oriented approach to this life, so we can start seeing the unlimited possibilities that are available here. It allows us to tap into the greatest love available to humankind. Why would we want anything else? There is no more need to struggle. We have efforted enough. Surrender leads to trust, and trust leads to surrender. Yet, there are always three sides to every coin. What is the path between these? This is the ultimate exploration. For you will go beyond both the experience of surrender and trust. You will find it only in the silent, timeless space that is free from any effort at all. It is in this timeless gap between both trust and surrender that we become enlightened. There will come a day when we will need to drop surrender, as there is also some effort required. Instead of trying to walk along, follow the path to freedom, we have become the path itself. This is when we will have discovered the divine in us. God is there only if you surrender. Surrender makes anything God. Surrender gives you the eyes, and everything that is brought to these eyes becomes divine. Osho. The best news of all is that practicing surrender instantly creates an incredible magic in our lives. That magic is already here now and happening. Yet surrender removes the blinders so that you can see and feel it again. By letting surrender take control of the steering wheel of your life, you can manifest anything you want with effortless joy and ease. Through true and total surrender to this universe, there is no goal you cannot reach and nothing you cannot accomplish. When you turn everything over to a higher power and trust that all is unfolding exactly as it should, all you can see is the perfection. This is where the real magic exists and makes you truly unstoppable in your spiritual journey towards the brightest life you can imagine. So if you will, go to the place where you're not going to be interrupted, and I'm sure that we all are. And the first thing that we care to do is relax these bodies that we are in, head to toe, inside and out. Now, these bodies, we all know, are not us. We are not the body. We are the God source within the body. So how do we relax the body? By letting go, by surrendering. Instead of hanging on to things, attaching stress, fear, anxiety, worry, anger, revenge, whatever it may be, drop it off, let it go. You know, it's like you're walking along and you're carrying all this stuff. It's, banging and tangling all along your way like tin cans on the back of a car. And you stop and it seems to be gone. And you keep walking and the noise comes back. Instead, you walk by a wastebasket, an outdoor garbage container, and you pick up the top, and you say, you know what? I'm going to drop all this stuff in that garbage can. And so you go about removing all of that clutter and dumping it in that garbage pail. And all of a sudden, you feel so light, you feel like you're going to lift off the ground. Because of all that stuff, and none of us are exempt from it, we carry it. And I don't think a lot of us, I don't believe a lot of us, really even know we're carrying it, because we get so used to it. And then when we get rid of it, let it all go, that's when we get really light. It's like wearing a weighted shirt or coat for months, and then taking it off and feeling like you can just jump up and fly. It's the same thing. So we identify this stuff that we all carry. And it's interesting because most of it isn't even ours. Most of it is in those programmed thoughts floating by in the sky that we turn into reality to experience for ourselves. And it isn't ours. It's someone else's. That's what's so wild. And then it attaches to your name, and you think, well, it's got to be mine because it's there. It came in here. How can it not be mine? That's why you get these crazy thoughts that come in, and then when you identify, you say, where did these thoughts come from? These aren't my thoughts. Why would I have that? Why would I be thinking that? You see how it works? And then we take it one step further. I know these aren't my thoughts, so I'm going to let them go. I'm not going to follow those. Paramount to have our bodies in a relaxed state. The longer we can have our bodies in a relaxed state, you can be walking down the street being in a relaxed state. Be driving your car in a relaxed state. So you begin to realize, well, I can relax my body anytime I choose. Yep, absolutely, without a question or a doubt. And you'll always know when it is relaxed because you feel light. And remember, we have a choice. All of us do. On the river, we see there's the majority of us are grimacing and chugging and pulling with our oars and boats up against the current. And we're trying to get to the top. And our faces are beet red and we're soaked cold, and we keep digging to fight that current because we got to get somewhere, right? Got to get to the top. And then you have a choice to say, well, you know what? I'm going to get in the boat with no oars sitting right in front of me, and I'm going to let the current take it and take me. And I'll just go with the flow of the current. And I'm not concerned where it ends up, because wherever it's going to end up will be phenomenal. The difference is huge. On this planet, most fight the current. Then there are those that know better and say, there's no way. I will let the power of the current take me wherever it wishes. And that is the universe. You can put out a thought, say, I would like to, this next opportunity in the unknown, where all the opportunities are. So you know that any opportunity, that whatever side of the shore that you end up on, in that boat going downstream thinking, this is when we are in a relaxed state. It's when we're in a tense, frustrated, aggressive state that we're digging and pulling our oars trying to get upstream. You see, it's a huge difference. So it's downstream thinking, in the boat with no oars. Let the current take you. It's where all the possibilities are in the unknown. And with this downstream thinking, we can maintain relaxation with the body, and we can also continually surrender all the garbage and crap that we pick up, because these bodies are like just super magnets. And no matter whether we're cognizant or not, aware or not, it's attracting everything. Conversations, arguments, whatever it may be. And it's stored in our subconscious mind. This big library of ours that's private, and it has all the stuff. Since you entered that body, everybody's thoughts that you've ever been around are in the subconscious mind. You can see how important it is that we get the knowledge and understanding of who and what we are, so that we can clean those shells, have some empty space for our new thoughts to come in, which are our thoughts that we manifest things with. And remember, when you know it's your thought, when you send out something, when you generate, you create a thought, you send it out. You send it out to the universe. So it's coming from you outward. Not something that comes in. That isn't your thought. It is not your thought. No matter how, it's tricky too, because you think it is, but it isn't. Only when you're cognizant, you know that I'm going to send this thought out. And this is the thought. I want a big boat, or whatever. I want to be healthy. And you send it out to the universe. That's your thought. So you understand that you're in the body, and you know that you're connected to the body because you power it. So it can carry you around so you can experience physical life in that vessel. So you look at the body and you say, what are these 7 lines? Where are they from? What are they? And they go from the tailbone to the top of the head. A lot of people call them chakras. The definition of chakra is wheel. These are wheels of light. They're spiritual etheric energy. What are we? The gods in the body, spiritual etheric energy. So it makes sense that we flow through those. Now these chakras, these wheels of light, are connected to everything in these bodies. Our emotions, our character, our personality, all of our organs, all of our blood flow, all of our tissue, head to toe, inside and out. The gods that we are know more about these bodies than anyone could possibly imagine, right down to the quantum core. So eventually, as each of us become more aware of about who and what we are and stay within, we will discover that we are the power of healing. You'll be able to heal that body in a blink of the eye, because you'll know exactly what's happening with it. Won't be any guesswork. Now, we know that our souls in these bodies are the heaven. They're the kingdom of God. They're the God source. However you want to name them. And your body is earth. So you're heaven on earth. All of us are. And a lot of people say, what is consciously being aware? To sum it up real simply, being consciously aware means that we know we are of and from the highest of the highest high, deepest of the deepest deepest, purest of the purest purest, eternal love, gratitude, and peace. We know that that's what we are. It isn't something we go pick up. It is us. That's consciously aware to a certain extent. So we also know that every step we take on this planet, being consciously aware, we're creating paradise. Not only that, we're shining our light 360 degrees, infinity, 24/7. And we're blasting everything, all life, the highest supreme value in the universe, with our deep eternal love. Eternal is forever. That's what we are. We are love. And that's why the vibrational frequencies of this planet continue to shift and go into higher and higher and higher existence. This is not something that can be stopped, or that wanes, or that dissipates. This is something that continues to intensify and it continues to expand and grow. Now there's a possibility in this life that we're in, that when we decide to leave the bodies we're in, when we decide to leave them, we will also know that we are the light. We will also know that we are the light. Which means we will not follow the light. Why would we follow the light when we know we are the light? That's a biggie. Now, we know that we're creating a God planet paradise, as this planet was originally intended for. We know that this planet glows because there's 8 billion gods, whether they're awake or asleep, parts of each other. So if you look, you take a starship off far enough out so you can see the entirety of the globe. You would see that it glows, and you'd see that all the lights around in the universe are like candles in a dark room, dim compared to it. So a God planet paradise that glows in this universe. Now, we all have 3 paths that we can choose. 3 paths. And you're standing in the center path. You're on a pad, circle, golden shimmering. You look ahead of you and you see these golden shimmering trees that form the canopy, and then you see this beautiful, vibrant emerald green grass. It looks perfect. And you can take that path. That is the now. And you look to the left of that, you see another path. And that's the past. It looks really worn. I mean, really worn. And then the one to the right is the future path, and it looks really worn. But the center path, the now, almost looks brand new. And we all have memories. You know, we go into that library, that subconscious mind, and a memory can, you know, some nostalgia, a song, or you just happen to be driving, or familiarity with area, and you go into the past, and you reminisce. And it's fun. Okay? And even at times, we will reminisce with the times that weren't too good. And that's not that bad either. But then we leave. We put the book back up on the shelf and put the pictures back up there, and then we leave. Some of us, and I don't believe it's conscious, some of us will stay there too long. And we'll end up taking that past and we'll bring it into a future that doesn't exist, and we'll create that future from that past, and we will live that past in that future. That's why a lot of people will say no matter what we do, we always seem to end up here. Now, others of us, and you know, we're not exempt. We'll go into a future that doesn't exist because we create the future in the now. So we'll jump in there, and we'll wander around, and we'll be asking ourselves all kinds of questions. When is this going to happen for me? When is my body going to be healthy enough so I can enjoy my life and do the things I want to do? When am I going to have enough money so I can enjoy my life? When am I going to meet the right person so I can enjoy my life? You see, we all do that. We all want to ask. We want to know. We're curious beings. So we always want to know. And basically, we never know because going into a future that doesn't exist has no answers. So we focus on the now. And we sit in quiet meditation with our eyes closed, focused on our breath, and we listen. We don't have any expectations or attachments. We know that every single second, microsecond that we are in these bodies, how do we know that 10 minutes from that point we won't have to leave the body? How do we know that? We don't. So does it make any sense to us to jump the gun? Really doesn't, does it? It's to be in the now. Downstream thinking. Flowing downstream. Now, here's the important part. You know, we always practice being gentle, kind, generous, and humble with ourselves all the time. And deep, eternal gratitude all the time. That's the key. Not sporadic, not once in a while, but all the time. In the course of your day, out of the clear blue, I am deeply grateful for everything in this very moment. Big difference. Big difference. Doesn't matter if you have a penny in your pocket or no penny. Doesn't matter if you're living in a mansion or a tent. Deeply grateful all the time for everything. And this way, when we get those thoughts, those program thoughts that we're aware of, like clouds passing by in the sky, and when we grab onto one of those thoughts that aren't ours, and we start writing it, we remind ourselves, I'm wandering off in a thought that's not mine. I will focus on my breath, and I will be in the now. That's not difficult, especially when you continually practice it. You might have to practice it 100 times a day. Maybe more, maybe less. This is what brings us closer and closer to the gods we are within these bodies. Now, we have a knowledge and knowing that we are the soul within the body, not the body, so that we know that parts of us, the gods that we are asleep. That's why we say somewhat aware. Now, they'll wake up when they wake up, but they're part of us. Now, the other parts of us we communicate with constantly are consciously aware to a certain extent. This is all the light energy beings and all that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever beyond, and forever. This is the archangels, the cherubim, the seraphim, the archetypes, ascended masters, Kuan Yin, Maitreya, Buddha, Lakshmi, Ganesh, Gaia, Saint Germain, Christ, El Moria, Abundantia, Pel, Thought, Yah, Yeshua, all the galactics, off-worlders, and celestials. All of our loved ones who have ascended out of the body in this lifetime and all lifetimes that we've inhabited. All the inhabitants of Agartha, hollow earth, beneath earth. So the archangels, their civilization vibrated at a different frequency than we do. Their gods are in the body. They're part of the gods in our bodies. And we meet with them, we interact with them. It's not that we all the time are aware that we are. But there are times where it dawns on us, that was an angel I was just talking with. Or, you're moving something or doing something, you say, boy, I could sure use a helping hand, an additional hand to help me with this. And boom, there's someone there. And once in a while it dawns on you, that was an angel. They just disappeared out of thin air. How could they get away? How could they be gone that fast? Because you look around and say, there's no way they could be gone that fast. No way they could have disappeared that quick. You don't see any cars pulling out. You don't see anybody in the lot. Or it could be inside. Where the heck did they go? That was an angel. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And we always feel blissful when that happens. They all have the same message. They just send it in many, many, many different ways. And it just comes down to, isn't it absolutely magna glorious to be alive in these bodies? It is. When we start to understand exactly who and what we are, we'll understand how phenomenal it is to have the opportunity to inhabit a physical form, to experience the physical life as the gods that we are. Because we don't eat, we don't sleep, we don't go to the bathroom, we don't smile, laugh, cry, joke around. We don't do that. We're balls of pure energy. So, boy, I'll tell you what, these bodies are very enticing for us because we get in them and we're just blown away. And we get so carried away with them, we have kind of an amnesia that we forget who we are. Have you ever done something where you kind of lose yourself completely? You're in another space, and you don't even know, where, what, how? That's kind of the euphoric feeling these bodies give us as gods. Sometimes we'll go into an amnesia and forget who and what we are. But when you begin to realize deep in your core that you are the God, not the body. You are the God, not the body. You are the God, not the body. Now, they can surround any one of us at any one time in the tens of thousands or even tens of millions. And the reason that they can is because of their vibrational frequency. They can hold a large number in a small area. And you want them to surround you? Just ask. And they will in the blink of the eye, and you feel bliss. And all these light energy beings, people say, where are they? On planet Earth, Gaia, Arya. Come, I don't see them. They're just fairy tales. They don't really exist. That's wrong. Just because you can't see it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Because of these eyes we have of these bodies, we only see 1% of what is anyway. So there's a lot of them. Different light spectrums, ultraviolet, violet, infrared, red, golden white. We just don't see them. But they're there. Now, there's a small group that we do interact with, and parts of it we on a daily basis. Fairies and sprites, the elves, the gnomes, the dwarves, the trees, the trolls, the elementals, earth, air, water, fire, ether, wood, mermaid, the dolphin, the whale, the pegasus, the unicorn, centaur, minotaur. Now, we know, pretty common sense, that we know these bodies we're in would not be able to sustain us if it did not get air, oxygen, right? Wouldn't. We'd have to leave it. It's the same with water. If these bodies that we're in don't have enough water, we have to leave it. And if there were no soils, no wood, no fire, would we still be able to be in these bodies? I think not. I believe not. Just the intimate relationship we have. Magic. All these elementals. Just like us, the gods that we are. Now the off-worlders, the galactics, the celestials. Over 1,000 species travel through their solar system every day. 1,000 plus. Trillions throughout the universes every day. Now, we're only familiar, again, with a small group. Pleiadians, Sirians, Arcturians, Andromedans, felines, Zeta Reticuli, Anunnaki, Nords, Greys, Draco Reptilian, Golden Pyramid Avian. This particular group has been assisting us in our evolution, enlightenment, ascension, freeing ourselves from our own self-imposed bondage and our own self-imposed slavery. Now, the ascended masters, they have ascended into physical form and they have mastered it. And they have ascended out and they hold pure consciousness, God form. We have ascended into physical form. We are in the process of mastering physical form, which means the ego, the mind, the subconscious mind, creating our experiences to perfect our creation. And think about it. Hundreds of millions of us, on and off world, consciously aware to a certain extent, along with all the parts of us that are asleep. So the numbers are infinite. Every day, 7 days a week, every year, for the complete liberation of this planet Earth, Gaia, Arya, and this now. Complete liberation, which will not and cannot be stopped, which is in progress right now. We're all gathered full compassion, non-judgment, non-ego, non-negativity, stillness of mind, gentleness, kindness, generosity and humbleness, bliss, joy, peace, tranquility, benevolence, prosperity, abundance. And we're all one, and we're all God, and and we're all love. And our God, force, love, light, energy is in all that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever beyond, and forever. And it continues to intensify, and it continues to expand and grow. We immediately form a circle of light around the equator of this planet Earth, Gaia, Arya, in this now. Where does this light emanate from? All of the gods that we are. The kingdom of God, the God source, the divine intelligence, and beyond. And we're flooding this planet. All life, the highest supreme value in the universe, with the highest high, deepest of the deepest, purest of the purest, eternal love. Infinity. This light is so bright that it grays out the darkness of sacred space. It would take 1 billion trillion suns even to come close to its brightness. We begin to ascend above the planet. We come into full contact with a massive ocean of glitter. It's almost instantaneous everywhere. It's like we're in it. And the best way to describe it is this grand finale fireworks, which we've never seen before, this super laser light show, and then this ballroom globe, like you see in a ballroom, turning slow, reflecting all the lights. But this one happens to be 1 trillion times larger and 1 trillion times more intense. You combine all that, and how spectacular is that to view? So we're curious, and we look at the reflective points. And we get close, and we notice that these little tiny microscopic, perfectly etched mirrors. So we enter them, and we discover that all of us, in all that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever beyond, and forever, are teaching each other, learning from each other, all the time. We're either students, teachers, students, or both. And remember, the tree is not life. The life is in the tree. The God gives the tree life. Understand that. In any vessel that we inhabit. It is a deception because we feel we're separate. It's part of our learning to discover that we aren't. You can look at your dog, your cat. It isn't the body. It's the God within it that gives the body life. So you understand that, and anything that you see, anything that crosses your path, is not, it's the life in the vessel, not the vessel. So you'll know that parts of ourselves, each of us, is everywhere. Everywhere. Bug in a rug, fly on the wall, bird flying by, bear, elk, moose, all the animals, all carrying a God that is experiencing that physical form. All learning. We're all learning all the time. Teaching, learning. It's magnificent. We're immediately met with the emerald green flaming healing light of Archangel Raphael. This is the column of light that we created to remind us all that we are the power of healing. Then we're met with the violet, blue, purple flaming light of Archangel Michael. This is the column of light that we created to remind us all of our omnipotent power, strength, and resolve. Then we're met with the white fire. This is a column of light that we created to remind us all that from head to toe, inside and out, we are encased and protected in a white fire armor, nothing like the armor on this planet, way beyond. Now, this is infinity. This is all the time. Sustaining our high vibrational frequency with this armor, which cannot be penetrated, no lower dark matter, survival matter frequencies, no demon possession or attachment. Ever, period. But only you have the power that if you decide to lower your vibrational frequency low enough, whether consciously or unconsciously, through greed, hatred, anger, fear, envy, hurried, revenge, manipulation, dishonesty, you will create a breach in your white fire armor, enough so to allow lower dark matter, survival matter frequencies to come flooding in. Then all kinds of possibilities of demon possession, attachments, and all kinds of activities with the lower dark matter, survival matter frequencies. Now, if you do decide to do this, you're immediately met with a double column of light. The first part of that column is the purple transmuting flame. This is a column that we created to remind us all that we can bring in the purple transmuting flame. We can transmute all of these lower dark matter, survival matter frequencies into neutral light substance, sending them to pure consciousness where they are, no more. The other part of this column of light is the violet ray. We created this part of the column of light to remind us all that we can bring in the violet ray right behind the purple transmuting flame. We can cleanse and purify the area where these lower dark matter, survival matter frequencies were, sealing the breach in our white fire armor, restoring our vibrational harmony to the highest of the highest high, deepest of the deepest deepest, purest of the purest purest, eternal love, gratitude, peace. We are then met with the golden white pink light. This is the column of light that we created to remind us all, the gods in these bodies, that we are the sunlight. We are the sun. We are the sunset and the sunrise. We are the oceans, the rivers, the lakes, the streams, the mountains, the forests, the trees, the soil, the animals, the rainbow, the rain, the snow. We are everything, and everything is us. So, the next time you view a sunset, starry-lit night sky, sunrise, ocean front, mountain view, it is you. You're the majesty. You're the divine perfection. You're the beauty. It always has been, always will be, ever, beyond, and forever. So normally when we look at something, we say, isn't that beautiful? Look at that. And then when we discover who and what we are to a certain extent, that is the God that I am, not the ego mind, the heart mind. That is the God that I am. Big difference. Big difference. See, because that illusion of separation is what causes us to think a certain way. We continue to ascend above the planet, and as we do, we come into full contact with this massive crystalline light tower. Now, some of us decide to step out our physical forms and hover effortlessly above them. We're carrying physical form. The reason we do it because it's fun and we can. Now, this column of light that we created, crystalline light tower, it's larger than the solar system and beyond. And in the center of the column, we see this massive oblong sphere. In the center of the sphere, we see this golden white bowl of light. It is surrounded by numerous rings of multicolored light that seem to never end. And it gives off this massive, blistering white, cosmic energy, misty, fieldy, cloudy, and white, super white, and it's sparking electrical currents through it. Looks like almost like little small lightnings and sparkles and everything. Very powerful. And it absorbs through our chests, our hearts. And it's like a warm embrace that never ends. And then we discover that the golden white bowl of light is the highest of the highest high, deepest of the deepest deepest, and purest of the purest purest, eternal love. Then comes gratitude, peace, gentleness, kindness, generosity, and humbleness, well-being, bliss, joy, tranquility, benevolence, super prosperity, super abundance. And it's unending. It's infinity. It never stops. It is a constant flow. And it is the gods that we all are. It is just a reflection of what we all are. At the top of this tower, we created it so the golden ocean can come cascading down 360 degrees, which it's doing right now, flooding, saturating, bathing us all life, the highest supreme value in the universe, and it is the highest of the highest high, deepest of the deepest deepest, purest of the purest purest, eternal love. Now, we are all drops of this golden ocean cascading down 24/7. We also hold the essence of it. We're all swimming in it. Golden ocean is a drop, drops of the golden ocean. And the only illusion is separation. We see our meditative sphere. It's at center circle. We all created this sphere almost 4 years ago. It holds over 1,700 of our meditations in perpetual motion. These meditations continue to strengthen, intensify, grow, and expand. It's absolutely magnificent. And anytime we wish to bathe in those meditations, flooding this planet and all life, the highest supreme value in the universe, go to a quiet place, sit, or even walk down the street. You can see it and feel it through your heart-mind. Magna glorious, it's stupendous, spectacular. Just for a moment, in silence. Through this silence, relax as you gently focus on a candle flame, about 6 to 12 inches from your nose. Notice how the mind tends to wander. Relax into the flame. Become the light and the fire. Let your mind and energy move into it. When you feel warmth begin to grow inside you, close your eyes. Bring the flame into your heart. See it radiating light to everyone and everything in your life. I'll join you in the meditation. Return to close us out. Take an easy breath in through the nose and an easy breath in, breath out through the mouth. Move easily and slowly. Your mind will most likely get crazier the more you meditate. This is an illusion. You are simply becoming more aware of the chaos that is already present in it. If you cannot stand the amount of mind chatter, take a few minutes before you sit to relax your body. Start by imagining a warm, relaxing light going into your toes and then moving all the way up your body. Take this with you for the rest of the day, into the evening and night, into the following morning. And we will return here Sunday, December 26, 2021, 3 p.m. Eastern, to continue our Global Guided Meditation call. A very happy Christmas to everyone.